Now, if you played Anthem properly, if you played it at all, I wouldn't personally recommend it, but if you played it properly, then you played Anthem for about a day, realised it wasn't getting any better, and then you turned it off. And if you did that, and you were playing it on the PS4, you may have avoided a rather nasty issue that is seeing some Anthem players' PS4s completely bricked. This rather nasty little issue appears to be mostly booting Anthem players to the main menu, just up and kick you out of the gameplay, but in the very worst cases, people's PS4s are being turned into decorative, non-functional bricks. Like the world's most boring poltergeist, Anthem apparently has the power to turn people's PS4s off, and in some cases they're turned off in a way that makes the PS4 think that the power cord was yanked out the back, like it was improperly shut down. Once the unfortunate player's PS4 has shut down, then they're faced with the task of trying to get it back on. Now, it might go back on if the front power button on the PlayStation 4 is pressed. It might not turn on if you do that. You might need to yank the plug out the back and then plug it back in again. Yes, that's right, pull the plug out and plug it back in. Because of Anthem. And then at the very extreme end, we have reports of the console just being broken. Straight up broken. The original Reddit thread on the issue, the original poster, is actually quite calm and collected about the whole thing. They seem in a rather zen mode. Their main reason for bringing it up is to just warn people not to play it, at least until there's confirmation this issue is fixed. My PlayStation has been completely bricked to the point of not even turning on because of Anthem, said the poster. I'm not looking for any sympathy or anything. This post is mainly being made to warn people that this could potentially damage your console to the dreaded point of no return. I've been talking on the phone with PlayStation support for a little over 2 hours now, but unfortunately there's nothing they can do, or nothing they're willing to do. At this point, I don't know if I'm going to continue playing on Xbox One, haven't had any problems with the console shutting down while playing, but problems may arrive in the future, or to stop playing altogether until Bioware addresses this issue. A number of replies in the thread report the same issue. Their console was turned off by Anthem, and it won't turn on again now. So it's safe to assume this is no isolated issue, and if you're playing Anthem on PS4, your console may very well be at risk. Electronic Arts is aware of the problem. At the time of me talking, it's been aware for about 13 hours. Nothing's been fixed yet, but they are working on it. EA Help tweeted, "We're aware of a crashing issue some of you have been reporting for Anthem. We're investigating and ask that you share your crash data reports when prompted. If you have, we'll be reaching out to gather info." Now let's mock Anthem for having an issue that's bricking PS4s. Your PS4 already feels like a brick if you're playing Anthem on it, because Anthem is so boring and devoid of content. and laughing, etc. You know, more laughing after the laugh. Just lots of laughing at it because we're mocking Anthem. That's the bit that, let's face it, most of you are here for. If you're watching this channel, chances are that you're somewhat savvy about the news going around in the game industry day to day, and many of you will have heard already, because it's not, I mean, I said, like, EA's known about this for about 13 hours. People have known about it longer than that. This channel is being a bit late to the party because we don't really do news. I'll pick stuff up when I get round to it. So a lot of you watching this already know that there's an issue with Anthem that's booting people to menus and potentially breaking PS4s. You're here because you just want to hear me talk about it. You just want to see me tear into Anthem, lay into Anthem, do my 40,001st video on it, and partake in the ritual of AAA video game ridicule. Which, yes, fine. I'm very happy to do that. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to look at Anthem and say, it took 6 years to make. How could it take 6 years to make and this issue happened? I've seen that sentiment pop up a few times, and I'm not going to take that angle. Because let's face it, weird glitches do happen. I mean, it's absolutely fucked up that Anthem is capable of turning off and breaking PS4s. Don't get me wrong, that is completely fucked. But Anthem taking 6 years to make has nothing to do with it. Bugs like this, sometimes you just cannot predict them, and they often are just so bizarre and weird that you might never have conceived that there was something that needs fixing. Bizarre bugs like this can happen regardless of how long the game itself took to make, especially these days where games are constantly updated and patched and have new content put in or taken out, and you never know what that could do to upset the game's delicate ecosystem. This isn't to defend Anthem, I'm one of the last people who consider doing that, but it is to try and put this into some sort of perspective. No, I want to go back to that idea that a lot of you were already expecting this video, that some of the replies to this video, very similar to the replies I see in other videos that I've done. There'll be replies that say, oh, I've been looking forward to seeing you take on this news story. I'm looking forward to seeing you tackle this issue. People will have been sat there looking forward to a Jim Sterling video making fun of Anthem for bricking people's PS4s, which again, perfectly happy to do that. But I also want to talk more crucially about something I brought up in an episode of the Jimquisition not too long ago that's completely pertinent here. This argument that shit shows around many modern AAA video games are more entertaining than the video games themselves. Anthem is yet another road-mapped so-called AAA video game that's lacking compelling content but promises you there'll be some down the road later. And in that void of content, without anything else to grab onto, we're making our own fun with Anthem. We fill it with controversy and reports of breakages. And you compare that to Fallout New Vegas when that came out. And I mean, it still is fucking broken, but when it came out, it was shitting fucking broken. Very broken. Reports on day one came of heads rotating, the game crashing, freezing, but that was also tempered by an amazing amount of positive press for it. People brought up all the bugs and crashes and glitches, but it wasn't the defining trait of Fallout New Vegas' news cycle. And I'll tell you why. It's because Fallout New Vegas also had a shit ton of content, so people could do their op-eds on how the game made them feel, or its karma system, or weird funny things they found in the game. Basically, because it was a video game with a shit ton of good quality content, it's not that the glitches and bugs didn't matter, but that they were tempered by the fact that Obsidian had done amazing work with the game. Same goes with Skyrim. Hailed as a classic, when it launched also completely fucking broken. They even patched in breakages, removing players' resistances and making the dragons fly backwards. But it also sat behind glowing reviews and lots of interesting other discussions about the game. Things modded in, fun things people are doing with Skyrim, wacky characters. Oh, look at that guy. He's ranting outside the Talos statue. Let's mess around with him for fun and post videos of it. Lots of people having fun, basically, with the content of the game. Now, you compare that to the prevailing headlines for Fallout 76, and while you will find people with their anecdotes talking about what scraps of content they can find in the game, the majority of us are just there to warm our marshmallows on the dumpster fire. Not that bugs, glitches, controversies are not important. Obviously, they are crucial parts of a game, especially in Anthem's case, where it's really quite extreme. And obviously, this stuff matters to me because, well, it's mostly what my channel focuses on. But because so many of these games now are released in a threadbare state, with the understanding that the fan base will, a year or two from now, turn to detractors and say, oh, but it's good now! It's good now, it's okay now, everything's finished, aka the For Honor defense, they have nothing to counter negative press when it occurs. I mean, what's Anthem got to back itself up? What's it got to boast about? Reviews came out, reviews were middling. EA doesn't seem to be boasting about the sales of the game, it's not breaking any records or anything. You know, it's tried to come out and be as successful and popular as Destiny, and that doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. Not that physical sales mean as much as they used to. I mean, there are reports that Anthem sold half as well as Mass Effect Andromeda, which ain't a great headline. I mean, it also doesn't really say much because so much is sold digital now, but again, these are the sorts of headlines we're getting with Anthem. People looking for something to poke at because there sure as shit ain't a lot to praise. Not even EA has much it can boast about here. I urge you, I've said it before, but I'll urge you to go and rewatch the Anthem 2018 E3 presentation, where they had concept art and mostly just flying around in the Iron Man suit. They had nothing else to show for it, because Anthem is like a PlayStation 4 after you've played Anthem on it. It just sits there doing nothing. And because Anthem bricked those PS4s, that's what I was going for there. Anyway, you get my point. Ha! Anthem.